Hello there! Welcome to the fire. Come and take a rest right here, my friend. You know, when you're pushing your luck and the DM kinda gives you that hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink warning, I'd suggest that you maybe take it. I wanted to give them ice cream, but no. r/rpghorrorstories posted by DreadRootGP. This happened last night, so I figured I would write it down while it's fresh. I have been running a Discord D&D homebrew for the past few months and it has been going smoothly. The party had just survived a sea monster attack and then escorted to a harbor by a technologically advanced kingdom who in the lore had built their kingdom on subjugating non-human races. It was even stated that they would trade the souls of non-humans to a ghost ship so their ships would not be attacked. Player knowledge is different from character knowledge. It was very probable that the PCs would have known this given their background, or at least would have. As a precaution, I put in a few red flags to help the group not be forced into soul slavery. I don't know why he thought this was a good idea. I am still spinning from this level of stupidity displayed by this player, and it hurts me to no end. The whole party had chosen to play non-human races. The harbor patrol was clearly separating humans and non-humans into two lines. The party had heard that they would need passports to enter the city. If they don't have one, then they would have to sign their name on the record book, which was an incredibly old tome. Red flag number 1. An NPC I had put in to help guide the party had clearly stated in an objecting tone, "There's no way I'm giving these men my name." Red flag number 2. The line kept moving and soon all but one of the groups got distracted by another PC who was in a cage. They went over to try and free him, leaving the NPC and our hero of this tale, whom at this point will be referred to as Fish, alone in the line. Fish was ahead of the NPC in the queue, while the rest of the party started a commotion that had distracted all the guards along the harbor walls. When it came time for Fish to sign their name in the book, they had an opportunity to read some of the names that were already written down. One of which was the name of an established NPC from another storyline taking place in the world. There are two campaigns being run side by side in this world, and the person playing Fish had met, fought, worked, and lived with this NPC in the other campaign. The NPC in question was an orc who had lived 1,000 years to the player's knowledge. In an effort to save Fish from a similar fate, I had the company NPC looking over her shoulder. There was a side plot where this NPC, who will be referred to as Girl Orc, was looking for the old orc from the other storyline. She had seen the name of the old orc and proceeded to shake down the record keeper for information. Thanks to the party drawing the attention of the guards, no one saw this but Fish. The man had no info. He was only told to take names. After the cage party member was set free, Girl Orc yelled to the group, telling them that they were leaving. Before the party left the harbor, Fish signed their name in the book. So while the rest of the party had escaped with their souls, Fish had just given hers away, but due to her being in a group with two tanky characters and other formidable members, she was not forced into a transport like the others who had signed their names. I made it a point to describe all of this as it went down, and oddly enough, no one asked any questions. While walking to an inn, Fish started seeing some kind of green glow. As the sun started to go down, everyone else looked to see what had our attention, and they saw nothing. Red flag number 3. The group goes into the inn and starts to try and chill. They are able to get a suite and order some food and drink, which would be sent to the room. But before they can leave their seats, Fish starts to see the green glow again, accented with creepy fog that only they can see. Without warning, Fish takes off down the road looking for the source of the glow. Another member saw this and chased after them, and then another followed that one. That was it. The party was split. One half relaxing and the other on a mad dash led by a PC that was seeing things no one else could. As fish made their way to a bridge that passed over a ship canal, that's when they saw it. A ship manned by ghostly green spirits. The captain waved at her before they began to go under the bridge. Fish made her way to the bridge in hopes to jump on board. At this time, I warned Fish on the danger they were in. I sent a gif of Davy Jones saying, "Do you fear death? Hint, hint." I asked them if they really want to do this, and they say yes. At the same time, I reach out to one of the PCs and ask them to please stop Fish from doing this. It's a bad idea and will result in their character's death. The PC, called Bird, agrees to help and grabs a hold of Fish's foot as they dive headfirst towards the ship. I ask Fish one last time if they are sure that this is the action they wish to take. They respond, "Sure enough that I jump for it." I tell Fish and Bird to roll D20. Fish, nat 20. Bird, 17. Fish kicks Bird in the face and falls to the deck of the ship. The next part are actual posts that happen. Names change for story. Fish falls through the air, smiling as she falls and lands on the deck, and a moment later she hears a splash. Bird watches as Fish's body falls limply to the water below. Bird, yesterday at 10:42 p.m. Bird was one of the more sturdy members of her tribe, but the bird people were never particularly sturdy, their bird bones not lending themselves to being very sturdy. So in the shock of being kicked in the face, Bird, despite her best intentions and desires, lets go of her seemingly suicidal companion. In the brief moment, as she saw her friend fall, Bird says a prayer to Alti Video, asking that Fish's rebirth be a pleasant one when the time comes. GM yesterday at 10:48 p.m. Fish, you look down and see your body floating in the water under the ship. You look down at your feet and see that you too are now the same green as the ship and its crew. The captain of the ship walks up to you and places a mop in your now ghostly hand and says through a hollow-eyed face, "Welcome aboard." Fish, yesterday at 10:43 p.m. Fish was bewildered at first, but the reality of what just happened set in. She took a deep sigh and asked, "What state have I found myself in?" GM, yesterday at 11:02 p.m. You're on the ship of the dead, newbie, but don't feel bad, you're in good company, says the captain. As he pushes her to the lower deck, all the other crew are laughing like madmen. The captain yells out, "Enough! We have a full crew now. The debt is paid in full. Ready the sails. We are off!" The crew shambles to their stations and brings down the sails. In her pain, Bird sees a glimpse of the ghost ship through the blood pooling in her vision. Bird, yesterday at 11:07 p.m. Bird tried to shake off her daze from being kicked, but while she was in a daze, she thought she could just make out a spectral ship where Fish had jumped down to, but she didn't know much of anything about ghost ships or legends to do with them, and just noted it to discuss with Girl Orc or someone else later. Instead, she cleared her face so she could see and walked down to the edge of the water to collect the body of Fish. The proper respects would need to be paid, and letting her corpse float there would be no good. Bird collected Fish into her arms and solemnly began to walk back to the inn. She'd ask where the town's funeral pyres were held later. I offered to make a new character for Fish, but they chose to leave the Discord. When asked why they did this, they said they had hoped this would have led to cool loot. When asked why they didn't stop after the warning signs and the Pirates of the Caribbean meme, they replied that they have never seen any of them, so the reference went clear over their head. Everyone else got it. They knew what danger she was in. One of the PCs literally just went to see them jump, the one that followed Bird. TLDR, party had a stressful trip. I tried to give them a nice sweet and ice cream, but instead a player chose to off their character. Look, I know that sometimes players like to push the envelope, especially when they think that there's some sweet loot on the line. But when your DM is dropping the "Are you sure you want to do that?" maybe reconsider, especially when you wander off alone to follow strange glowing lights and a fog which leads to jumping aboard a ghost ship. Yeah, that's typically a bad idea, and one of my big takes here is that the player was being especially stubborn. But on the other side of the coin, I will say the following. When it comes to metagaming out of character knowledge and in-character knowledge, that's something you want to be careful about as players. Sure, the me in real life knows that a werewolf's weakness is silver, but maybe my character might not know of this. So in this instance, I feel that Fish was more or less acting on their in-character knowledge. Also, you can't always assume that everyone has seen certain popular movies or media. To this day, I still meet people who haven't seen Star Wars yet, so you can't assume that a person will automatically understand a meme. Just saying. Oh, and also, a lot of the stuff that OP mentioned in the beginning of the story was very vague. So vague, it went over even my head, and I read the entire story. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And would you kindly follow the socials posted in the description below. As always, be good, be great, be awesome.